Good day, my SN viewers. This is Satellite Media. Mr. Chinedu Michael, let us get your reaction with respect to Amaka, a Nigerian based in Canada. Igbos are dismayed that she has been arrested and perhaps Samuel Ekpa was not able to defend her. What is your take?
We must get it very clearly at this point, and when we are trying to bring some Ekpa factor in the issue of Amaka, a Biafran Canadian, based in Canada, whose video went viral, where he was reacting to one Kingsley from Austria. Yes, from that Kingsley from Austria who made that statement that all Igbo children all over the world should be poisoned. And Amaka reacted to that Kingsley. And we expected that the federal government of Nigeria, the National Assembly, the Senate, the Federal House of Representatives would have able to conduct or carry out a proper investigation, to ascertain the identity of one Kingsley who is based in Austria. Nothing like that was done. Nothing like that was carried out. No, Abike Dabiri, the chairperson of Nigeria in diaspora, did not see anything from that direction. What immediately it comes to Igbo, you see all of them sitting in the emergency meeting everywhere. Before enough, they are written to the Canadian government, informing them of the reaction or a threat coming from Amaka over the poisoning of Yorubas anywhere they find themselves. But the fact is this, Simon Ekpa believed that Amaka should be defended, and not to be not to stop her arrest. That's what we must understand. So what Simon Ekpa said was, at this point in time, we are expecting that Amaka get the required legal services needed. As he was being alleged that she was arrested somewhere in Toronto by the Canadian police, and that arrest for me, I think she's going to go through a law already set aside for people, for migrants who got themselves involved in threat of life according to Canadian law. According to Canadian law. So Simon Ekpa could not stop the arrest, but what Simon Ekpa was trying to say is that he is going to support all legal processes in Canada and make sure that the woman is well represented legally. And I think, believably, that is what we are going to see Simon Ekpa do. Even though we are hearing clearly that the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has already taken a certain position concerning the issue of Amaka, because we see when similar cases here in Nigeria, where we have the Oba of Lagos, where we have the likes of Bayo Ononuga, Lagos Pedia, all other issuing a life-threatening statement against the Igbos. The Abike Dabiri, they were all there. The senators were all there. They didn't dive into emergency meeting immediately. But because it's an Igbo woman abroad, because it's a Biafran, you can see the speed of which they were able to write to the Canadian government. The law is going to take its course, because these are people who respect their law. They have a law already stated there, and Amaka is going to go through that process. And I can assure you that Amaka is going to come out victoriously, because what she said is what other people in Nigeria are saying, and she was reacting to that. And the woman has a very good record in Canada, because nobody has been nobody whatsoever has ever associated her with crime until now.
Okay, now we understand that in that part of the world, the western part of the world, there is justice, equity, and fair play. Rule of law apply. Do you sense that she might not get justice?
Irrespective of the way and manner the Canadian government want to show international understanding and sanity, and to also tell the whole world know that they believe in democracy and the rule of law. I think understand they were able to put their image at the global map by looking into that matter very well and allow Amaka have access to legal services. That is very important. And I can tell you that most Igbos in Canada has already started running around her to give her the required support because a proper investigation is going to be done, and I believe Amaka is going to go through it successfully and come out victoriously. She is a Canadian citizen as I'm talking to you now. So and the Canadian government understand that in their own code of conduct or in their own rule of law or in their own laws, Amaka, nothing is going to sabotage it. Their legal system is not as corrupt as ours. Where a similar offense was committed and they look the other way around. Well, now that the matter has been reported in Canada and has taken a global dimension, the international community is watching, and civil society organization is watching. Amaka saying that Amaka risk 2 years jail term, and if found guilty, that's where we are expecting the likes of Simon Ekpa, to show their energy, to show their strength, to reactivate their influence, the Biafran influence in Canada, and be able to make sure that the woman is properly defended. And this Amaka's case, for me, is going to put Simon Ekpa's image on the radar, and is going to put his position as the Prime Minister of Biafra in exile on the scale, because his reaction is believed to be something that would have seen, first of all, that would not have led to Amaka's invitation by the police. And now that they have been invited by the police, we are seeing, want to see a successful, legal services extended to Amaka.
Okay, what would be your reaction if Nigerian government were to start the process of extraditing her, perhaps if they want her to come here to face prosecution?
Of course, they also understand that if found guilty, she faces deportation. And I don't think it will get to that level because everything will be properly defined in the court. And let me tell you, it's not even their. Amaka is going to face a district court in Toronto. And I believe that there will be judgment for her, and I believe that there will be justice. But I'm not trying to encourage any form of hate speech. Yeah, thank you, hate speech. But I'm seeing it that this is persecution against the Igbo nation, especially using Nigerian factor at the international scene, in an international arena. Because I don't encourage it, but in a situation where there is reaction credited, now it's still going on it today, and the federal government could not be cannot be able to do anything, cannot be able to call for the arrest of the Oba of Lagos, cannot be able to call for the arrest of Reno Mokri, Bayo Nonuga, Lagos Pedia, the wife of the president, Remi Tinubu. They were also involved, and nothing was being done.
But some people have argued that 2 wrongs does not make a right. That one cannot use justification of other people doing wrong to allegedly commit a similar crime.
If 2 wrongs that doesn't make a right, that does not mean that you cannot be able to defend yourself, and somebody will just come and tell you, and maybe unfortunately or fortunately take your life, and you say 2 wrongs can never make a right. Well, it is already enshrined in the international law. You have your right to defend yourself in a situation where your life is being threatened. That's the fact. So it's a reaction that we understand where it's coming from. The question you ask yourself is that how many times have you seen an Igbo man and an Igbo woman making a life-threatening statement against any tribe in Nigeria? How many times can you come out and say that this is like this? It's coming from Igbo. How many times? So it's a question people need to look at very well, so that you'll be able to put yourself in a proper perspective before you begin to call Amaka names. But I can tell you that, even if Amaka is being deported, even if he faces 2 years jail term according to Canadian law, she has made that statement, and that statement is a fight, of resistance.
Okay, now finally on this, what do you make of the argument of some people who before now said that the person in question that allegedly made the statement is not an Igbo girl? Now the identity have been unveiled. What do you make of the statement of such?
The identity is still questionable because we expected her family down here to react, and we have not seen anything like that. But for the fact that he uses that name, Amaka, and he spoke in pidgin English in that regard, it tells you that possibly she is an Igbo woman, and that name is associated with Igbo. So the right to defend her by Igbo community is worthwhile because the name is Amaka and the name is Igbo, Biafra for that matter. So that tells you that anywhere that name is associated with, of course, the Igbo community will rise in good defense, not because if he's a criminal, of course, nobody's going to come for her defense. But she is only defending, which is normal of any human being. He cannot say two roads can never make a right and you are being killed. Like they are killing people in Nigeria, in the north. Go and see what is happening on the north. The Boko Haram went to a particular place and cleared people. So they should just hold their arms. They should not do anything about it. And then that means that the entire community, the entire race will be wiped up in no distance time. What we are saying is that at this point in time, we want to see Simon Ekpa come in and give and support justice for Amaka at the international level and at the global level. And I expect the United Nations also, or human rights department, to look into the issue of Amaka and see how they can come out with a proper legal support for her.
I don't know whether you are of the knowledge that the statement allegedly made by Amaka was trending in South Africa, where South Africans were included in the genocidal threat. Is this something you have knowledge of?
Yes, that issue that has to do with one Chidinma that contested for Miss Universe. You can see that she has a South African blood, and on that process, the South African were saying that she's not going to, go. She's not going to do that. She's not going to do that. But at the end of the day, Chidinma went ahead and won Miss Universe in that beauty pageant competition. So South Africa should understand that we are not against anybody. We are not against any form of any race in this world. What we are seeking for is a space to survive. It's a space to grow. It's a space to develop. So South Africa reacting to the Amaka statement threatening a certain race in Nigeria, should be seen as something that has a political and undertone.
But did she allegedly threaten South Africans as well?
No, you see, this government is out to continue to carry out propaganda against Nnamdi Kanu, against Simon Ekpa, against Biafrans, against Igbos anywhere, anytime. I wouldn't see this happening during other subsequent government, but it has become prominent and significant under Tinubu. What is actually going on? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Why are we suddenly having, ethnic profiling under Tinubu's government, singling out the Igbo nation? What is actually the issue and what is going on? So it tells you that there might be some certain things that is going on the ground that we might not be able to know. But what I'm telling you, at the end of the day, the world will need to know and understand that Amaka deserves to be supported at this point. Justice for Amaka. Patience. Snubaga.
Thank you very much. Until a time when we get answer to your questions, we can always avail the word of it. But for now, I think it's a good place to let it go. I must say a very big thank you for your time. We hope to have you next time. This is Satellite Media and I'm Mr. Matthew. Thank you very much.